viewers, welcome to India Today. This is Maruti Acharya.
And I am Sanjay Ponappa, and today we went and watched the film Agnyathavasi. Before the details, what's your one-liner?
It reminded me of this line, slow and steady, but wins the race. Yeah,
Fair.
I added but there, but yeah, slow and steady, but wins the race.
Well, my one-liner firstly would be to the audience, whoever complains that there is no good Kannada film coming out, there is nothing interesting happening, where are all the good films? Everybody who complained about that, it is very evident that not a lot of people have watched the trailer, have even given it a try. This message is for all of you. If you really feel what you're speaking about Kannada cinema, if you really have that passion and want good films, go and watch this film, support this film.
This is not the conventional, entertaining, fun movie, but it is good movie. There is a difference. If you sit for the 2.5 hours, you're gonna take a lot into it.
Thriller film.
Thriller film.
It is as good as any other thriller film would be. It is good. It is definitely here and there. It is something that I expected out of the film, and it is also, it served good things which I didn't expect in the film. And that is always good for a thriller. You're halfway there, you're with the film, but still unexpected things keep happening.
Correct. At this point, I personally feel not just in Kannada cinema, overall with the genre, thriller genre, crime thriller genre, there is a lot of saturation, so many experiments. It feels like every other movie that we watch is a thriller. So making it feel fresh, nice, and still keeping us hooked till the end is a tough job at this point. This movie actually achieves it with a very relatable, simple, but very innovative screenplay.
The film has been directed by Janardhan Chikkanna, who firstly directed the film Gultu, which was, highly acclaimed.
Yeah.
And then came Powder, which didn't really match the standards. You could see the team trying to do something out of the box, but, the assignment went totally wrong with the execution. He's back with another film, Agnyathavasi, once again, and the film is backed by producer Hemanth Rao, not director Hemanth Rao, producer Hemanth Rao. And I must say that 90% of the film, 90% of the cast did really good job executing whatever character was given to them to the T.
So what works in a thriller usually is keeping you guess till the end and the reveal blowing up. So with this movie also, despite of it not following any of the usual tropes, the editing, the technical departments are kind of different from any conventional thrillers. It is into that genre itself, but they tried something different which really works with the screenplay. But the twist, the final twist or the reveals, the unraveling and closing of the knots, everything feels smooth, nice and perfect. But for that, you will have to sit through a very slow and steady first half, which is building stakes. You will definitely think whether it's necessary or not. It might not be, but it is not a disturbing factor.
When it comes to a thriller, it is all about the unexpected turns. It's all about the twists and whatnot. In this film, what I felt was unconventional is that you could expect what is coming, but it is ending up being bigger than what you thought. You can see something happening. You can after watching all the thrillers that is there in the world,
You
more
kind of guess
usually
it.
you kind of are able to guess where this film is going, and that happens here. But then the same occurrence happens at a much bigger scale that you can't really think about.
Yeah, so a lot of screenwriters, they mention this dialogue about screenplay. It is not what or when, it is how that makes a good thriller. So this movie gets how right. So
Yes.
that is why it will fall into place by the end and you will have a good experience while leaving.
Talking about the technicalities of the film, it was very sound and extremely impressive. It felt like the cinematography just beautiful. Again, the film is being shot somewhere around the Malnad region, Malnad belt of Karnataka. Chikmagalur is what I'm guessing. And it has a lot of scenic beauty. All of that is captured, but that is not it. Once again, the cinematography, it is more than just capturing the landscapes. Yes, that is important. That is beautiful. All of that is right.
Yeah.
But cinematography is much more than that. Capturing frames, the tight frames, the light, the reflection.
Yeah.
None of it seemed unnatural. None of it seemed like, a studio light is being put in the face or there's a diffuser,
Yeah.
there's a reflector. It felt like all of the lights that were there were natural and it blended nicely with the mood of the film.
If you watch the trailer also, the first half of the trailer is very nice, soothing. It gives you a nice feel about the film and suddenly it gets to the tricky part, the thriller part, right? So the point is the technical departments, camera, sound design, every technical
Background
department,
score.
background score, editing, everybody understood the assignment of this thrilling world. So every department has done their fair share of job in making audience transport into that world and understand, blend into that world. So all the calls that were taken, framing, lighting, sound design, very innovative sound design also. So everything understands the assignment and definitely elevates the overall experience.
Yes, another thing that just popped up in my mind when you brought up the trailer and the kind of cut that I feel the film also has a similar
Yeah.
cut. Right, the first half was mostly setting up what is going to happen, setting up the suspense of the film, and then the second half builds from there.
Correct. Talking about performances, all the performance work really well because especially this thriller, there is some amount of innocence from a village backdrop film is also required, and there is some amount of intense performance which is required, especially with the themes that they are discussing in the pre-climax and climax portions. So everybody, including Rangayana Raghu, Paavana, Gowda, everybody did amazing with the assignment. They understood the job and they did really good. And the theater staging of some scenes where the impact is required, breaking of the fourth wall or whatever, the staging of it feeling like a theater setup and it paying off in the end, everything, the performance also contribute to the bigger picture that is cinema, which is the beauty of this movie.
Yes, the scenes were set up in a way where you don't really see a lot of cuts and jumps from one scene to another. It actually flows nicely, which is why we call it a theater setup.
Correct.
Because like in a theater where there is a dialogue, there is one whole scene. It doesn't cut from one place to another. There is a whole scene. This film also followed that template of having complete scenes mostly and not cut frames to cut frames to cut frames, which is why it felt more impactful.
So getting into demerits, the biggest, in fact only demerit for me in the movie is the setup, especially in the first half, because the plot premise, it is very simple. So when the unraveling, the suspense, especially when the point is simple, the suspense should be held properly. But taking a lot of time to set up characters, at some point it also feels unnecessary because this setup is not adding to the bigger picture. Yes, you understand more about the character, but this is a suspense thriller. So not diluting it to the level where you lose out on the suspense element and get more invested into the characters. Yes, it is good where it is necessary. If it is not, it is not. So especially in the first half, the story deals into a lot of personal arcs and personal setup kind of things, because of which you might feel a little lagging. They are not getting to the point as the feeling that you get. I think if they reduce those portions and let it be more tighter, crisper, keeping the suspense hooked, I think this experience would be much, much better.
I partly agree with what you just said and partly don't. The part where I agree is that there is a little bit of a lag. The suspense that is built does get looser and looser with the time going. For me, that frame was something like a suspense is there, so they leave a question lingering in your brain. And then it goes down slowly and dives into what the world is, what the characters are. I felt like that wasn't as. Of course, I felt the lag. Of course, I felt it being a slow burn. But for me, what worked there is that I know that world.
Okay.
It is similar to the world that I come from.
Okay.
So I know what is happening there and how each character, that characteristic is a stereotype uncle or a stereotype auntie that you would see in your village.
Yeah.
So that part I was actually connecting to and vibing with. There is always this one mischievous kid. There is always this one uncle, the grumpy one. There's always this, meticulous, strict father figure who's in a friends group. There is always, everybody has a dad.
Yeah.
But there is one dad who's the strictest and all the friends are scared of.
Yeah.
So characters like that were being shown and that part I was relating to. So I don't really have a lot of complaint about it. The only thing is that I acknowledge that it was slow.
Yes, but again, this is not a easily digestible movie considering the themes, the plots, the slow burn piece of it. But overall, if you objectively look at it as a piece of cinema, it is really good. It will keep you hooked. It will keep you engaged. And especially with thrillers, right, there is no right or wrong. It is whether the director was able to make the whole thing justified or not. In this, by the end of it, you are justified with a lot of things. You are convinced. Justified is not the right word. You are convinced why what happened. There's no right or wrong. So in all these aspects, I feel like Agnyathavasi gets it on point and definitely deserves your love.
And for me personally, when I watch thrillers, I really hate it when there are a lot of unanswered questions in the film. I feel like, at least with this film, I don't think I walked out with any question left unanswered in my brain. I feel like there is one question, but that goes with the story of the film, so I can't really bring that up. And I don't want to pop that question up and spoil the film for anybody who would like to watch it. But
If you watched it, let us know who is Arun.
yeah, yeah. That is the only question that I walked out of the theater with. But apart from that, once again, the message that I'd like to say is that for anybody who enjoys thrillers, please go and watch this film. This film does cater to everybody's cravings, especially to those who enjoys thrillers.
Yeah, and personally, even if one person after this review goes and watches the movie, we feel we are very, very happy and contributed something to a good movie, because good movies need good visibility and good audience. If not, what is the point? That's it. That's it for this review. I hope you liked it. If yes, like, share, and comment your opinions. With that, this is Maruti Acharya,
And I am Sanjay Ponappa.
and you're watching India Today.